Guys, so I started off with a cup of all-purpose flour, and then I added 1/4 of a cup of white granulated sugar. Then I added 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar, because this particular recipe, we're mixing it up. Remember, it is sweet bread. Then I went on to add 1 teaspoon of yeast. I kind of filled up my teaspoon a little bit more because my yeast is a bit slow, so I added extra. Then I added a little bit of baking powder and 2 teaspoons of powdered milk. I did also add a pinch of salt, but somehow skipped that in the video. So yes, you should add a pinch of salt, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and then nutmeg for flavor, and we mix it all together. Make sure all of that is properly blended before we go on to add our butter. So the butter here, I'm using the sachet butter, so I just divided it into 4, 1/4 of the sachet butter, and we blend that into the powdered mixture. You could melt your butter if you want, but it's really not necessary. Then I added 1 small sized egg. So here you have the option of either using just the yolk or using the whole thing, whichever one you prefer. It works fine either ways. And then I added a bit of vanilla extract, and I'm mixing everything together. At this point, it gets really sticky, so you can think, oh, you don't need water anymore. But because of the yeast, you need to add a little bit of warm water to activate that yeast properly. So now we put in another 1/2 cup of flour. Now the reason why I didn't put all my flour at the beginning is because you don't want it to be too thick. This particular dough should be a little bit, a little bit sticky, a little bit watery, so you don't want it to be too thick. So we add the remaining flour after we've done all the mixture. Now it's time to knead. We use another 1/2 cup of flour for this kneading process. All of the flour goes right back into the dough. So the kneading process is a bit taxing. If you have a hand mixer, it works beautifully. You can just use that for 5 to 10 minutes. That's fine. But when you're kneading with your hands, you have to knead for a little bit longer so that it gets stretchy and it doesn't stay sticky. If it's still sticky, like if it's still super sticky on your hands, then you need to knead a little bit more or add a little bit of flour. But be careful not to add too much flour to the point where it becomes too tough or too strong. It has to stay elastic and stretchy and a little bit wet. So you keep adding the flour as much as you need until it is needed. So I did this for about 10 to 15 minutes till I was satisfied with the consistency. Now it's time to roll it out and cut it into bits. This makes it easier to portion, and you kind of re-knead it a little bit while you're trying to form them into balls. So I did it into 8, although in this video it shows you 9, but I actually did it into 8 to get like good sizes. Yeah, so we start to roll them like balls, but before then you take your muffin pan and you oil it. If you forget to oil it by the time the muffin bread starts to bake, it's going to stick to the pan. So you have to make sure you can use baking spray as well if you don't want to use a brush. Now we start to roll. So basically I'm just rolling it like, I'm not using any special technique. I'm just rolling it like a round dough. Yes, I'm rolling it and then making it into balls to fit into the pan. When that is done, you cover it and leave it to rise for about 2 hours. If your yeast is very active and your environment is really warm, it can be an hour, 30 minutes, but mine was a bit cold and my yeast was slow, so I had to leave it to rise for 2 hours. So once it's risen, as you can see, it's doubled in size. And yes, I remeasured it to 8 instead of 9, and it's doubled in size. You now egg wash it before putting it into the oven. Now I'm steam baking because I want that steam to give it that fluffiness, so I'm steam baking, and I baked for 20 to 25 minutes, and then we're done. I'm using the toothpick to check to make sure that everything is baked all the way through and nothing is left undone. And once I'm satisfied, I bring them out. See how beautiful, see how beautiful that is. And they're so easy to make and they're so delicious, and you can use them with gravy, you can use them with beans, you can use them as a snack, and it looks so pretty. Like it's a very pretty, party presentation. Just amazing. Now let me show you what they look like inside. So fluffy and so yummy. Yummy. So thank you guys for watching my video. Please check out my other videos and drop your comments, your feedback, and let me know if you tried it and how it turned out for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Please follow, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye-bye.